So Ray Charles is now in the piston business. Hang loose and we're gonna get into it. All right, so a little backstory here. So we contacted pretty much all the piston companies that we're a dealer for and had them quote. This is a 602, 604 crate engine piston. We got a block that's wore out, that's got to go 40 over, and legally you can't do that. The rule says 30 over is max. So whatever deal this outfit's running, it doesn't matter about that. They don't care about that. They just want the piston to visually look like the right piston. So we just doing the work. All that other stuff ain't got nothing to do with me. My job is to get a piston made that'll fit the application and be what the customer wants it to be. So that's what we're doing. So I emailed everybody, and one company, I'm not gonna call any names, but one company come back with a good price, but the biggest thing was the lead time was better, and we in a time crunch, you know, everybody's always in a time crunch. So we went with that company, and we had, I think there's 40 emails in the chain on this job. So after we were promised a date, X amount of weeks to get them, and that time come and went, and I'm emailing, can't get any answers. You know, they barely respond in a timely manner. They do respond, it just, you might have to send 3 or 4 emails to get a response. So they tell me my pistons is ready, and finally they show up, and we open them, and keep in mind, we sent a sample. We shipped a sample to them to be able to know that they're doing what we need to do. So we have a perfectly legal, undamaged sample that we can get, you know, data off of. So the pistons come in, and this is what I get. So this is what we need, and this is what we get. Now, I don't know if you can see, but not only are they visually not even close, dimensionally they're not even close. I mean, you can see, you know, how wide this bar is, and look at how wide that bar is. So visually or dimensionally, they're not even in the same zip code. So I email, hey, you know, we got the pistons in, and you know, they're not correct. So what do we need to do to get these back to you and, you know, get a correct set made? So the answer I get, and I'm gonna read you some emails, but the answer I got was basically, you know, that piston will work. You know, that's fine. And I'm like, well, that ain't what I asked you. I mean, you know, I give you a sample, and I told you that it had to look like this sample because this was legal. And the answer is still, well, this will work. Well, I mean, you know, again, I guess it's, you know, reading comprehension is not a strong suit these days. And this is just some of the crap. I mean, I'm making this video in jest a little bit because it's mind-boggling that, you know, $1 million piston companies can't read a simple email and make a part from a sample. I mean, it's absolutely insane. But I'm gonna read you something. I'm gonna read you the first few emails, and Andrew, we'll put some of this stuff on the screen. So the first email is You know, it's a small block. I give a compression height that needs to have 4 valve relief flat top and a 4 and 40 bore. What do you have available? The answer is, the response I got was these would have to be custom. And it says, are you running a specific class? And, you know, let me know if I can be of further assistance. And I say, yes, it's a 602, 604 crate class. The top needs to look like the Mala piston that's legal. This piston that I sent a sample. So I don't hear anything back for 3 or 4 days. I ask any update, and it said I'd need to see a picture of the Mala parts. So I send a picture. And 8 more days go by, and I ask, are you going to quote this job? And it says full custom piston, pins, blah, 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 10 to 12 weeks, X amount of dollars. And I said, thanks. Wiseco is a good bit cheaper, maybe next time. And then he comes back and says we can make them out of the 4032 material for a little cheaper, and then that price was better. There's no mention, and this will come into play down the line here, but there's no mention. The price reduction is because of piston material. There's no mention of any extra charges for custom, and no more mention of any of that. We've established that it's a full custom piston, and the price was this in 2618. And this is a naturally aspirated round track deal. It doesn't need a 2618. A 4032 will be more than fine. So we agree on the 4032. It's much cheaper, and we give our ring specs and the pin height, and I say I'm going to go ahead and ship you a sample. And you know, he says it won't be necessary, but I'm thinking in my mind, well, does he have the dimensions for the valve reliefs? Because that's the critical feature of this whole deal. And I say, well, I'm gonna just send a sample anyway, just to make sure that there's no you know, confusion. And so we go back and forth, this and that. I give him a tracking number for the sample, and he gives me some production dates when it'll be, and then there's some billing stuff. We go back and forth, and I'm trying to get to the part where yeah, here we go. So I say, you know, as per our discussion, the sample piston we sent in, the only critical feature was the valve reliefs. And he wants to know, did they not clear? And I'm like, it ain't even about clearing, it's just visual, you know. I mean, it don't, you know, again, Ray Charles, here we go. And I say it's not a clearance issue, it's a visual issue. And he says, we had you send a sample to match the depths, not the position. We would need to create a custom piston. And so it goes on, and we back and forth about this thing. But basically, it goes on to say that if I want, this is not a full custom piston. This is, I guess this is a little bit custom piston. And for me to get a full custom piston, I got to pay more money to get a full custom piston, but that's not what was quoted, and that's not what was said in any of these emails. Till the piston got here and it's wrong, and then all of a sudden everybody's got amnesia. And so, you know, I call multiple times, they won't answer the phone, they won't return, I leave messages, they won't return my phone call, I email multiple times, they won't return emails. And then finally, after, I don't know, 10 or 12 phone calls, they send a email They don't call me back to send an email, and basically it says the only way to make the piston 100% exactly like the model would be to lay it out, and it will be a full custom, blah, 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 blah. And so, you know, we've already decided in the first 3 or 4 emails that it's a full custom piston already. That's what they quoted. But now they're telling me that I got to pay some more money to get a full custom piston. So we've got, you know, $800, $900 set of pistons here that we can't use. They're just useless, and the manufacturer won't do anything about it. And it's just insane that we've got all of these emails that are just, it's crystal clear what I'm asking for. I mean, you can chime in the comments if you think that I was vague in any way, but they're saying that I wasn't specific, that it had to be like the Mala. But I mean, I don't know how you can miss it from those emails. I don't know how you could mess that up. So the unnamed company, I'm not going to call any names, but the unnamed company has basically cost us about 14 weeks of time and $900. And now Wiseco is making us the correct piston, and it's going to be another $900 and another 12 or 14 weeks. So you know, the customer is going to basically not get the race this year because of this scenario. Because we're going to end up taking 28 weeks to get a set of pistons that should have took in real life 6 to 8 weeks. So yeah, it makes my head. And then too, us as a company is going to have to eat this set of pistons that's useless. I mean, one day we'll use them in, you know, some kind of street 350 or something one day, but ultimately we're going to have to eat that $900 and buy the customer a correct piston because these people can't read an email. Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was worth sharing, because just some of this stuff, I mean, it's crazy what we have to go through. I mean, I probably could do a charge back on my credit card, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to just put them on the shelf and use them in something one day. But that's what I should do. I should do a charge back on my credit card. But anyway, just be careful who you buy pistons from, and make sure that everybody's clear on what you're asking for, because apparently spelling it out in an email is not enough. You need to send them I don't know what you need to send them. I mean, I sent them a sample, so I guess you need to send them a blueprint and go over and program the machine for them or something. I don't know. All right. Thank you for listening to me whine. We'll see you on the next one.